Are you ready to think big and act bold? Then you are in the right place. This is Innovative Entrepreneurs, a podcast that will bring you the stories, insights, and tips from some of the most successful and innovative entrepreneurs in the world. I am your host, Erica Bailey, and I am here to help you start, scale, and sustain your own entrepreneurial journey. Let's get started. Today, I am thrilled to have Jeremy Wenger on as our guest. What's really cool is I actually met Jeremy through a mastermind, and then we started talking, over social media, and I just am addicted to what he puts out there. I really find quality and value in what he shares. So I'm really excited to have him here, not only because he's got a brilliant mind, but because, he's a good friend of mine. So I'm really happy that he's here. Just so you know, Jeremy is the founder of the Tiny Home Plug and Tiny Home Funding. He is on a mission to solve the housing crisis that affects many communities around the world by using innovative and efficient building methods. He is an expert in creating modular developments that reduce costs, increase profits and equity, and deliver a high-quality experience and asset. And lastly, he is also a speaker and coach who has been featured on various media outlets. I have personally seen him on stage, and he is an amazing speaker. And Jeremy is here to share his insights and tips on how to build smart and sustainable. Welcome to my show, Jeremy.
Appreciate being here.
I can't wait to get into it. So tell me a little bit about you.
Born and raised in Alabama, from Huntsville. I was been in the trade since I literally was 12 years old and grew up in the tree industry. Man, a lot of challenges and stuff that's had to overcome, but a lot of that poured into what I'm doing now. And it's amazing because growing up in the trades and productizing companies, and then looking at when it comes down to solving a lot of issues, there's quite a bit going on in our culture these days, in our economy, and a lot of the problems are overwhelming, but so are the opportunities. And so it's just a lot of the things in real estate, and a lot of the challenges that with investors and what they face, along with being able to with those who need housing, to be able to help them meet in the middle. It's been, solving that problem, and then paving the way on different developments has just been insane. It's just crazy how selling skills in Starburst in middle school, they working with my dad's company for God knows how long, and just how it's all catered to here. So it's been really cool. So
that's amazing. Okay, here, what is a tiny home?
Tiny home, this is a buzzword, honestly. When it comes to modular housing, there's so many ways to do it. So tiny home is just, people know it from Netflix, right? It's like, especially these county municipalities, or the city municipality officials, they are like, we don't want that. But a lot of times with tiny homes, everyone's got their own definition of them. But when it comes to modular building, either it's a turnkey unit, modular unit that's made in factory, prefab, sits on site, or modular material, that's whether it's the wall panels or whatever, that are manufactured and sent on site. So that way you can speed up the production time and then decrease, labor cost and opportunity cost in multiple different areas.
Wow. I got you. I think I was almost right there, but I'm sure people are going to understand what you just
said. Have the whole home or pieces of the home made in the factory. So that way.
There you go. Got it. So what was your why for becoming an entrepreneur in this industry? What was your why?
Oh, in this industry, really, truly, because I'm called to those who are considered a lost cause. And I'm just kind of tired of investors complaining about the problem and really not leading into it. I just felt like Alan's calling me into it, and there's no way around it. And, I decided, for me, I've got a heart for those who can't help themselves or speak for themselves. That's where I want to step in and create that with those who align with that mission. And that's where the mission of Cancel Housing Crisis comes in. Because, when it comes to the investor side of stuff, numbers matter. And, a lot of times people are who are very, legacy driven, don't have the business side of it factored in. And that's where it's with working with nonprofits in my past, so do missionary work and doing other things. It's how can we bring nonprofits, for-profits, those who want to defer capital on one side of it and provide the solution? How can we help with them? And what is that number one thing that is the defining piece of it is the vision, not just the vision, but also making that vision practical. And then that way being able to bring the end user, being whomever it is, from affordable housing, short-term rental, whatever, corporate housing, whatever the business model is, because infrastructure is cool and all, but it's like, that's one of the biggest issues, that no matter what the development is, no matter what's going on, it's always going to be zoning or funding that's going to kill the deal. But it's also two contractors, all the good ones are busy, but all the bad ones are available. Usually.
Yeah.
And it's like incentivize people all the way around and making sure that we're not industrializing the housing market, like the housing industry, through different mechanisms and various ways of doing that, but also to put food on the table for those who are still involved. It's like, how can we harmonize and make it a huge win-win all the way around? And that's what the Tiny Home Plug has done, because we've had to, and we've gone through. We're doing a lot of different size of developments and just different things with serving demographics. But it's the biggest thing that drove me into it is my personal story, because I lost my dad when I was 18. But I'm a product of a good independent living facility. I have an inpatient program. Second time was a charm when I went to rehab, and I'm here because of a good man who poured into me. Like, the infrastructure is cool and all of that, but it's like, when it comes to designing different facilities that aren't just always shared living space, it's like, how can we create something that creates a sense of ownership, dignity, but also has a plan and incentivizing people to where it's kind of like gamifying sober living. But with, even if it's like sober living, if it's, being able to help, be able to, help people get back on their feet if they're veterans or single parents, or, coming like for foster kids, so that way they can have transition rent throughout every quarter. And it's just like, how can we get creative, not just on the infrastructure, but for me, it's like what I experienced, they've had the right people in those development, in those programs. So that way it's like, like, let's fight against the recidivism rate. And so that, I was one of 25 people on my group that stayed intact, that stayed with something. And it's interesting because, throughout the day, I went through and, there's just so much going on, and with personal, like with people that I know, and just being there for them, that even throughout this, from last night to this morning, there's someone that reached out. It's like, how can we, be there to get them the services that they need to get back on their feet? It's like, that's where I come from. And it's like being able to, be a product of a good person, not a program, but a person that poured into me. It's like, how can I pay that forward? Because I can never repay that man. I'm a product of good father figures in my life. And so it's like matter of like, how can we, for those who have the money that want to make a difference, but also to remain passive or however active they want to be, it's like, how can we help them stay where they want to be at, but also bring in the right people to move the needle along? And that's like, because it breaks my heart for when the solution's not always, like when the solution's not being created, the problem's always being magnified. That's when it becomes a problem.
Yeah, absolutely. Wow. I am so impressed with you, Jeremy. I feel like you've really found a true, like, worldwide problem and have actually created a solution for those who nobody else would help. You know what I mean? So I think what you're doing is brilliant. Canceling the housing crisis, that's a big mission.
Can't do it alone.
That is a big mission. Like, what's your vision? How do you see yourself getting there?
Just partnering up the right people that align with that mission. That's how it's grown so fast, and that's the only way it's going to be able to sustain itself. And that's why, we'll function as, however it makes sense, from material provider, project manager to funding. That's why I started Tiny Home Funding, because I had to. The numbers got to make sense as far as the obvious as far as your cops and everything. But it's like, if we can, with our in-house architectural team, our design team, going through all the full stack of what's needed, because modular is a whole different world.
Yeah, and that.
Yeah, it's man, it's wild. And we've got, our team is just incredible. There's no way that there's absolutely no way I can do it all on my own. And just being able to be able to serve in all these different areas, we're just, the only way we can do is be able to make it thoughtless and and be able to keep it as smooth as possible for those who want to step in, and be able to who may have a concept, if they don't have land, no problem, no land, no issue, no problem at all. With our in-house acquisition team, we actually will go through and assess what the property needs to be and what the characteristics have to be with the path of least resistance in a specific location. Given what the overall vision it needs to be. And it's like, given that, you have to go through reverse engineer and you have to grants and go through like what that demographic has that location in the city, because there's an NIMBY, right? Not in my backyard, that you have to consider, factor in, because a lot of times if it could be from any kind of business model, but depending on, again, the demographic that dictates where you can put it at. And there's so many people that want to make a difference. There's a lot of things that they want to accomplish, but it's like connecting all of those dots together. Yeah, and that's, just, it's beautiful to be able to work with people who align with that mission, because that's the only way this is going to be able to even make a dent.
Absolutely. You got to put the right people on the right seats of the bus with the right driver.
Yep.
And then you'll get to the destination. I totally believe that. Okay. So it sounds like you have, the mission down for your business. What do you feel is the best business model in regards to, treating the people that they are working with you or working for you? Like, how do you think the way you treat them makes them rise up for you?
Yeah. I mean, it's like, how do I pour into them? Yeah. As far as like, how do I, yes. I mean, biggest thing is, caring, right? I mean, the thing is, I live, eat, and breathe this mission. Like, it's really truly, like, my wife will tell you, like, it is, I'm up until 2 a.m. I mean, it's funny because I'll start a project with someone. I don't do mentorship, because I just don't have time for it. And I do a lot of stuff. I'm like, either I'm going to do a project with you or not. It's totally fine. And I'm a kinetic learner and a kinetic teacher. And so there are things that are caught, there are things that are taught, right? But you can't teach the things you have to catch, and you can't catch what you need to teach. And it's interesting because for the folks that work with me, of course, everyone's got their specific lanes they focus on. And I mean, they're just, and I'm the guy, I'm making sure that everyone, from no matter what's going on as far as the vision, all the way to interfacing with contractors, and making sure that everyone is being trained across, cross-trained on different areas. But even I love it when there's going to have to be a hard conversation. You got to have those come to Jesus meetings, right? And just by default, you just got to, because, correction creates growth, right? But you don't want to be a jerk,
Say that again. Correction creates growth.
Yeah.
I like the way you say that. Okay. Keep going.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's where it's like, because for the sake of the mission, if we don't keep these things and be efficient and accurate, then the mission's going to suffer, right? And so it's not just a business, because the business is built to win with people on their projects. Like, we may charge a flat fee up front, but have those deposits towards the material, the property acquisition. But even then, we're built to win throughout the project. So that way the entire team is incentivized. So that way they're pushing forward. And so it's like, how can we get creative on all sides of the deal and that whole development? Because we've got a whole production line. And so, it's just a matter of making sure that everyone, no matter what they focus on, everyone's got, and everyone on the team has to align with the mission. I don't have anyone on the team that doesn't align with it. I'm not desperate for people.
Got to have the right people. Absolutely. Okay, so I'm trying to understand this modular thing. So, like, what's some of the advantage and maybe difficulties of working with modular materials and units like this for your projects?
We have all the partnerships in place, so we go through any of them that will be the best fit for that project. So we go through assessing the property. I do underwriting as far as it's going to qualify and make the most sense on it. A lot of the difficulty with modular is most people, like the lenders, they're not very familiar with it. Lending is very fragmented as is, so when something is fresh, coming in, they're a little leery of it. But we've got all the lenders in place that are okay with it. But also too, the modular material, it's got to be up to the local zoning code, right? A lot of times people try to I want to build something that's going to be fairly fancy that I saw on Netflix, and yeah, that's cute. But lenders don't care about your good ideas. So it's like, speaking, like I said, I speak contractor needs, banking needs, and geeking needs. Geeking needs for marketing side of stuff, right? You know that. And so contractor needs, because you punch through the 5 foot thick of concrete with the forehead that they got, right? Yes, that was hollow. But that was my forehead. But but it's like being able to then, tie that into different things. But it's like, you got to think through, would you want to stay there, right? And, I know this is the biggest tiny home you've ever seen in your background, right? This is the guy that's but it's like being able to tie that together, both with, it's like, you got to build out, according to the local zoning code that makes sense, but also longevity. But, so, when it comes to modular material, lending is going to throw up a hissy fit if they're not familiar with it, but also if you don't know how to position or package it. but also local municipalities. They don't care how great your idea is if it's going to look like an eyesore in the middle of the city. But rural is going to be a little bit easier. But depending on what you want to do as far as the business model,
Okay.
can dictate that decision and direction. So, but yeah. Yeah, from booking to lending and all that kind of stuff, to zoning, there's different, bear traps all throughout the whole process. Oh, and contractors too, they got to be familiar.
Speaking of processes, like how do you make sure that your projects are eco-friendly and socially beneficial?
Yeah, socially beneficial is very subjective, but when it comes to eco-friendly, I mean, like, there's, it's already, proven through that. I mean, as far as like what they've done through their testing and all, as far as their research. And so, yeah, there's a lot of, as far as the eco-friendly side of stuff, there's some developments we want to qualify for ESG credits. So we definitely got to go through and like what, as far as their quality of installation, quality of the material, obviously, so if it's, it's like studded sit panels to, light gauge or light frame steel, kit homes or whatever the case is, it's got to be up to code. If it's not up to code, I don't care. Like, I'm not even going to look at it. A lot of people will throw me different things that they find on Facebook Marketplace, someone made locally. I'm like, that's cute. But it's got to be up to code. If it's not up to code, then you're not going to get equity balance. So, I mean, you're not going to get a HELOC on anything as far as any kind of improvement on your equity, where you put that ADU at, right? As far as a mother-in-law suite, or if it's on a campground, because containers on wheels can be classified as an RV asset.
Oh,
and thrown into mobile homes as well. So,
okay.
So yeah, I've got a partner that all they do is that they're an OZ fund, and they're cranking out. We're doing like buying mobile home parks and repurposing them with container homes, and doing it in an opportunity zone. So that way, there's no capital gains tax for 10 years.
Love it. Boom. There you go, Jeremy.
Yeah, it's funny because like there's so many ways to get creative, but you definitely it's a lot to process. Like. Yeah. Almost. And you just got to be careful because, there's bear traps that most people don't see. Because containers have their ups and downs to it too. But yeah, I mean, for some folks, who gives a rip? I mean, for veteran housing, right? Yeah, for transitional living. Yeah, it's like, how can we, especially with the Sound of Freedom that came out, the movie, I think, gosh, dude, talk about veterans and reentry programs to help them even to go back and combat that type of human trafficking. Like, come on. Like, even to help them get educated on, as we say in Alabama, educated on their VA loan to understand while they're in transitional living, learn to trade financial literacy in your VA loan, and just go build them a duplex.
Dude, it just
quadplex.
It just makes sense. I mean, it's just perks. Okay, so getting back to business and entrepreneurship, let's talk about what are some of the things that you are aiming for or excited about in your future work? Like other than, canceling the housing crisis, like is there something coming up for you that you're super excited about?
Well, there's 6 projects that are crossing their finish lines this next couple of months.
Paul? Like what kind of projects do you have going on?
Some in multifamily and some that are the duplex and single family residential multifamily too, that are really just crossing their, even like short-term like couples at corporate retreats up in Vermont and Texas, South Carolina, here in Alabama. And I mean, just, a lot of stuff going on. So super pumped about those going vertical. But the biggest thing is when they're done, I can't wait for them to just, make trips over there, of course, but be able to, just to share that with everyone. But yeah, it's exciting to see everything come together because it's like, every tradesman has their therapy, right? And it's like to create. And it's like, man, it's been, especially when it comes down to all the different partnerships and everything that's been happening. I mean, especially with just everyone who is coming together on this mission. I mean, it's been absolutely incredible. Like I'm just humbled because, I mean, there's God's brought some people that are way smarter and better looking than me to the table, and so I'm just grateful to just be the guy that is, I have a vision, and it's been amazing with the vision and the processes and the systems in place. It's just making it easier, and it's being able to pave the way. I mean, whew, man, there's been a lot of people trying to steal that vision, but it's been. Yeah, but that's the thing. When you have your own vision, no one can duplicate it or replicate it. Some can try and knock it off, but not everyone can do that exact same thing. And so, Yeah, and that's it's been amazing just to see like with all these different projects that are happening, all these different asset classes. I mean, it's been just humbling to say the least. And I mean, good Lord, it's just been incredible. So, but yeah.
That is fantastic. I'm truly, truly excited for you. I mean, how do you think mindset has had an impact on your success?
It's kept me. I mean, the mindset's where I mean, it's the six. For some people, it's for like myself, it's like the 4 inches between their ears. But yeah, for most people, it's the 6 inches between their ears. But just anyways, it was an inside joke. But yeah, but I
Just make
it's
me laugh so much. I enjoy talking to you and watching your stuff, man. I really do. Okay, get back to the important.
mindset's the anchor. Because the old saying of controlling your emotions, you can control your world. Because at the end of the day, we all have a soul. That's your mind, your will, and your emotions. And if you can't control your mind is the space where the battlefield's won or lost. And we can't control our thoughts with another thought. We can only control with our words. It's a funny, little exercise count from 1 to 10 in your mind, and someone tells you to randomly say your name, and then your thoughts cut off. And it's because we actually designed to program our mind through our better confessions, better things that hey, I know that with this vision, it's in my heart, and I know that it's in what I need to do. I don't know how it's going to happen, but I need to prepare for it. Yeah, I've got a vision. You see that vision for a very specific reason. You got to give that to anybody else. And I'm like without any intention, no matter. I don't care if anyone's Christian or not. Like it's like there's something that's hardwired inside of you that you want to do. That there's something holding you back. And it's honestly even while it's happening. A lot of times people are like, "Oh my God, I didn't want all of this," but it's like, "Hey, look, dude. Hey, blessed means busy." Okay, so it's like, hey, it's like we got to be able to. If you prayed for it, you asked for it, man. I mean, if you get prepared for it, it's going to slap you in the back of the head or knock the wind out of you because it's going to happen out of nowhere. And that's where mindset, it's not just a matter of believing that you can acquire it, be able to achieve it and thinking you're worthy of it. But when it does happen, you got to stay in there because, it's kind of like it's really like a sword being put in the fire and being like, ping, 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 being beaten all the time. And you're like, correction creates growth. Ow. And that's where, and it's like really, truly when it comes down to your mindset, keep that. If you don't keep your mind focused on what's really like on the vision, your emotions are going to go up and down all the time. Mm-hmm. And if you don't control them, it will drive you insane. And it's going to cause your willingness to keep going on to be weathered down and to just give up. And that's the thing. It's like, how bad do you want it?
How bad do you want it?
And it's not even about how bad you want it. How many people you think you're not going to impact when you give up? Because someone gave you the vision for a reason. I mean, not someone, but you have the vision in your heart for a reason. So if someone's out there waiting on you to accomplish it and push through it, I don't care if it takes you 30 years to get it done. It took you 30 years to put those things in place so that way you'd be the first one at the door.
30 years are going to come and go anyway. Do you want to be that person or do you want to be...
And even more digestible, 2 years, right? There's a lot that can happen in a year and a half, 2 years. Oh,
yeah, you're a prime example of that. Okay, so one of the things I love about you is that you are really good with your own marketing and you are phenomenal on social media. So what I'd like to know is where do you find your marketing efforts being most successful? And, how do you get some of the inspiration for the social media that you do? Because I'm telling you, it's really good stuff.
But did you see the future house, future spots? But it's really, everything goes back to the mission, right? Yeah. And, I did, I outsourced CTO, COO, and CMO work for over a decade. So it's kind of like ingrained in the back of me and how to, I've did a lot of that in my old life. And so now it's more so, when it comes down to, mission oriented stuff, a lot of things that, whether it's organic content, organic and SEO content, and also, I know my audience. Like my audience does not, they don't care about Lambo dollars. They don't give a rip about any of that. Like really, truly, when you eat, sleep, and breathe your mission, it flows from you, right? And so it's like, for me, I'm like, what is the funniest thing too is like it's super simple. It's nothing super complicated. It's like I mean, how can I be super lazy in my marketing and then, have it then go the quickest? And that's where for me, therapy for me is doing interviews like this, because then doing Q&A sessions with people, like just groups. So I mean, I've got so much content that on my website stuff where I'm like, there's 2-hour Q&As that just sessions that I used to do on Clubhouse all the time. I had to take the seat back since the beginning of June because of the project. And it's like, now it's like a matter of making sure that, keeping focus, grow the team, sales operations, sales operations, sales operations. It's like, that's the main focus, because at the end of the day, I mean, who cares about your branding if you have nothing to back it up, right? And it's about a matter of influencer marketing, but, having a good business model that incentivizes people, because, I mean, knowing your margins, being able to evolve and staying in there when the heat is on. And that's where it's like, no matter how many times you get punched in the face, it's like, okay, cool. How can I make a solution that will fit that bill and make sure that I'm staying in the game? That's exactly how it happened. And it's like, so many people overcomplicate it. It's like, how about you just, okay, some people are too fragile to stick in there to hear the whole problem.
Okay, say that again. Say that again.
A lot of people are too fragile to stick in there to hear the whole problem. And then what happens is they hear half the problem, go back throughout their funnel or their website, and try to get something scurried together, and they should have just listened. And it's amazing how that stems from caring. Because then what happens is then you can take a step back and say, blogs are landing pages too, right? That should be a t-shirt. But like this, I told Justin Brooks that Brooks we laugh. But it's like, how can we create content that would like the audience that we're trying to target is going to read, right? Because the thing is, there's a native tongue to everyone, right? No matter where you come from, where you're at, from Alabama, we got some words that we say in so fast, what I mean? So we still kind of understand, it's really good. If you were country,
what you're saying.
If you were country, you knew exactly what I just said. He's like, you know what I mean? It's like, if we go Boomhauer mode, then some folks who are from the country know exactly what I just said. But like, if you're not, you're like, that sounded like a syllable, huh? Like a strung out yo-yo syllable. Like, can you pronunciate your syllables, please? You know what I mean? And it's like, but that's the thing, goes back to the marketing, right? Like I know for a fact that me being my natural goofy self won't work for most people, but for me, I'm handling a crap ton of stressful stuff, and if I can bust a joke here and there at the right time, it makes the whole process go a lot easier. But it is what it is, and I had to embrace that too, because trust me, growing up, there were like great place much. Like, but also too, there's the other side of me that I was afraid to embrace as far as the mechanic component. To be, because I'm like part visionary, part mechanic. And so we keep talking about pie in the sky all the time, it'll piss me off. And so I'm like, all right, cool, good idea, good concept. How can we make it work? And I have to say, for what context?
Full context, that is noted. We got it.
Man, and that's where, it gets interesting, because, it's like with the marketing side of stuff, your personality shines through on that. Because here's the thing, a lot of people think they have to be some goofy, version of what they think is going to be acceptable based on a stereotype. And I'm like, bro, if they meet, like, and this is something too, like back when I first started, acquired my first landscaping business. And that's why we did so well in those 9 months, because we didn't make anything out. We didn't have time to get that creative. I'm like, bro, no, I'm good. Like, just be yourself and let it flow through. But also too, like, what do you talk about with people on the phone, right? Conversations create content. Content can create conversations. So from the conversations, you can create the content, whether it's written video, and and you just bulldoze through it. And so, I mean, it's really, truly it's like, and based on inspiration too, like a lot of stuff on TikTok will find, I'm like, man, that really hits home. And I want to display that message to people. So
I think everybody needs to rewind a little bit and listen to that part that when he's talking about content there, because that truly explained quite a bit in just a few words. So that was, I think you just made me a TikTok, Jeremy.
We got to put those videos on top of that.
You know it. We got you. This is awesome. So here's your second to last question. And this is my favorite question to ask everybody, because Everybody has a different answer. Who do you think is the most innovative entrepreneur in American history and why?
That's a hard one because I respect so much about everyone.
Who comes to your mind first? Or who has inspired what you do?
A lot from everyone, honestly. The first one that comes to mind is, of course, a lot of people bring up Elon Musk, but I don't want to be cookie cutter in that. I want to exemplify, distinguish what, it's just out of box thinking. And it's like he's always breaking the mold. And the way that he thinks on certain things is in 5D chess. And that's what I can relate to because there's so many things that are happening that most people are like this focused, but he's looking at it like this. Yeah, looking at it as a whole entire Rubik's Cube instead of it being just a plain sheet of paper. And so it's like, how can we look at, just really solve problems from different angles if no one's going to do it to figure out a way to do it? That's the thing that's like, I feel like he resonates too with this. It's like, you don't have a solution and it's not because it doesn't exist, it's because you haven't found it yet.
Oh, boom, there you go. What? Exactly. And there's another TikTok. It's because you haven't found the solution yet. Absolutely. You know what? I always tell people, don't come to me with a problem unless you have a solution. I totally agree with you. I think that he is changing our world. You know what I mean? And, whether you believe it's for the good or for the bad, he is making changes. And, that's what Edison did. And that's what, Frank.
Yeah. There's a lot of people have opinions on his business practices and stuff, but it's mainly I just want to focus on his the way he operates mentally and how he moves.
Absolutely. What? I totally agree with you there. I'm gonna give you a 10 on that one. On the spot, you passed. Okay, so Jeremy, tell us, how can we find you?
Yes, you just type in Jeremy Wenger on social, on Google, literally, and myself will pop up. But tinyunplug.com, you can go there, go through a lot of the content and just soak all of it in because there's a lot of areas that can and could be done as far as just developments in general, but the opportunity is overwhelming. And there's so much that whether you have a land or you don't have land, it's not a deal breaker for us because we can help find, source, and assess and underwrite, do what you need to do. So, tinyunplug.com, Jeremy Wenger on social media, or Jeremy Wenger official, depending on where you're at. But find me out there. I'm probably randomly, in between meetings on social media, but being able to, you guys reach out. Now on the contact page on the tinyunplug.com site, you guys, there's a menu there. So if you have something in mind, you're not too sure, you can just kind of go through, check off the amenities as a menu. I like your Burger King to have it your way. In my calendar is the last question on the application. So that way you can grab time too.
Perfect. Well, you know what? I really appreciate you sharing this with us. I think you bring a lot of value to people. And I am lucky to say that I'm in your tribe and you're part of my tribe because I really do believe that we're going to see you accomplishing that mission. I have no doubt.
Can't do it alone.
And I'm going to be there cheering you on. All right. So thank you for having such a big heart and such a open mind and a vision that doesn't serve you. It has service for others. And there's not a lot of businesses out there that have that core value. So continue what you're doing, keep growing, and I hope we talk again soon, all right?
Absolutely. I appreciate you having me on.
Wow, what a great episode. I hope you had as much fun as I did. If you want more of this goodness, make sure you subscribe so that you get notifications for future podcasts. And if you found value from this, please share it with others. You can visit our website at cwgdigital.com. This is Erica Bailey. I am your host, and I will see you next time.